So, 82% of the tenants being evicted in New Orleans are black, when 58% of the residents of New Orleans are black. And what's key to note here is that before Katrina, we had the largest black-owned neighborhood in America, the Lower Ninth Ward, that was all black and homeowners. And now that's full of Caucasians who are of lower socioeconomic status. Okay? And we've totally lost Treme, which was the oldest black neighborhood in the country. It's two significant black losses right there. And so now, if you try to have a discussion about how that occurred, people are going to say, well, black people made choices. And we're not looking at any of the systemic mandates or second-class citizenry or double standards that we see and talk about and post daily and share articles from reliable journalists with empirical data showing disparity in the numbers. You know, I've been harping on lately that the average two-parent family income for white people is $78,000 in America. That's the average. And for black people, it's $32,000. That's because we've been slated to be the second-class citizens to carry the weight for the status quo. So when I start to talk about Devontae Bryant's death and how they were systemically mandated factors that wear down the black family structure, even the strongest, we saw it happen to all of our families during Reagan's war on drugs. And at this point, all the intellectual blacks are saying, after seeing all the data and after understanding what's really going on, being so nestled in their comfort that we're still having discussions about black on black crime from people who are supposed to be credible within our movement. I'm making this live today because I really have an issue with Devontae Bryant's death being labeled black on black crime when that's not what it is. It's pressure bursting as a result. It's a pipe bursting. It's pressure bursting a pipe, right? And nobody cares to manipulate anything or mitigate anything to try to get to a sound discussion about the causes versus the effects, because America's a powder keg, and we understand this no matter what we kumbaya at the sports games and no matter who you stand next to and sing or not sing the national anthem. All of that is aesthetic posturing. So I'm asking you guys today, please, if we're going to need a consensus to win, you know, if we're ever to have a resurgence, if we're ever to reclaim our rightful place, we have to start with consensus, right? Please shun any African American you see, or white person, or any other race, period. Anyone whose narrative is, well, black people gotta stop killing each other before they can be respected on a whole. Because what other category do you ever discuss where equity is passed out in that manner, where a couple of people, right? The people that murder people and go to jail and whatnot, right? A couple of them can dictate that the people who are upright of us have to wallow in their misery, right? By what standard? Is that just relegated to black people? White people kill people every day, but they're not judged on a whole by that, first and foremost. And there is no sociological term, white on white crime, or Asian on Asian crime, or Latino on Latino crime. So when we look at all the factors and we see that it's time now to just be unapologetic. I didn't say wild or wild out. I said just let's have every conversation that needs to be had, because the security you think you're nestled in can never be absolute, while we haven't even begun to talk about the crux of any of the issues. R.I.P. Devontae Bryant. We cannot let little daddy die in vain. It was not a black on black crime. These were kids, confused kids, growing up latchkey in abject poverty with not enough adequate access to communal resources. Let's see white people drive past their house on St. Bernard or Claiborne every day, going to the white areas in their Porsches. You know, impressionable kids. And until we can have this conversation while witnessing them take Dylan Roof to Burger King after he murdered black people in a church, and then seeing them not want to give our youth any empathy whatsoever, we have to begin to blame ourselves. So I've been so passionate now for about, see, Ashley's 20s, something, her late 20s. So I've been passionate now in regards to this since Ashley was about 14, and some little boy slapped her in the face at the school. And I'm still as passionate because last year Diane went to a public school in New Orleans where her and her bestie at the time tore up the award ceremony by getting the best awards, the best grades and whatnot. And then a little boy that had complaints against him, and one of them was that he had called Diane the B word in school and said he'll smack a B word. You heard me? He got the highest award of the school. And so we're not living in a world where things are based on anything integral, and things are purposefully non-transparent to create an ambiguity so people can have their way to their truths. We got to keep our head up, and we have to align like minds. I'm in the 7. Hit me in the inbox. Let's start to work. You know who you are. Even if I never met you, you know who you are.